Our next guest, Jeff, as you know, is really an expert at unique situations. And of course, that's David Stearns. He is the president of Stearns Retirement Group just outside of Atlanta, Georgia. He's also, of course, one of our very own retirement income store specialists. David, thanks so much for being back here with us on The Income Generation.
Thank you, Dave. It's good to be with you guys.
Hey, David, great to see you. Hey, listen, we're talking about unique situations today. And I know you probably have experienced some in your infinite wisdom up there, but tell us some of your unique situations you've experienced with your customers.
Well, you know, Jeff, recently I had someone that came to see me. They're now a client, but when they came to see me, I found it really unique because their former advisor had them over $2 million in one mutual fund. And not only that, but it was a tax-free muni fund, which is fine. There's many of them out there, but there was only one. And the type of yield that they were getting, they were pretty high up the risk curve within that fund. And so we had to uniquely begin to extricate them from that scenario. That was one of them. I've got another one, Jeff, where I had a lady maybe a year or so ago that had her first RMD to come out, you know, and with that first year, you get that exception. You can wait until the next calendar year, April 1. Well, she wanted to also liquidate a lot of non-qualified money to kind of realize her unrealized gains, right? And to make her portfolio more conservative, but she was going to have a rather large capital gain. So the unique situation there was, do we liquidate the non-qualified account, take the capital gains, and take the first RMD in that year, or do a tax analysis and look at if it would make more sense to wait on the first RMD to the next year, forcing her to take two in the next year? Unique situation. We got a CPA involved, and we successfully landed that plane for her.
Dave, thanks so much for being back with us here. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Consulting with an income specialist like our next guest. From the left coast, Jerry Slusiewicz. Jerry is founder of Pacific Financial Planners located in Laguna Niguel, California. And he has over 30 years of experience working with these types of issues. And he's hosted his own radio show for the last 15 years, Your Money Talks. Jerry, great to have you back here on The Income Generation.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks for having me.
So, Jerry, you know, you're very unique in your own way because you're an income specialist, but tell us about some of the unique situations you've seen with your customers.
Well, Jeff, you know, income is a relative statement because some people need a lot of income and some people need less. I had a doctor not too long ago from Newport Beach, a highly affluent area out here in Southern California, come to see me. And when we did our analysis after everything, this guy needed around $11,000 from his portfolio per month, and he had about 1.5 million. And, you know, that's a high bar to cross. You're talking, you know, well over, $130,000 a year off of, a portfolio that's almost 10%. So he had this lifestyle all along, fairly extravagant because of his income, and he was taking care of his kids who were adults, but now. And when you factor that against other folks who've gotten together a little bit more conservative, paid down their house, they've had kids that they kind of weaned off the family money for a little while, and they could use maybe $500,000 and achieve a better lifestyle than someone who had such an extravagant lifestyle. So your income needs will vary depending on the situation dramatically.
So he was unique in the sense that he had a much larger amount of money that he wanted to withdraw than was really possible. So you had to bring him back down to earth, it sounds like.
Well, again, it's really tough to try to kick off those high rates of return and still have money left to last. This gentleman was only 63 years old. And when you start doing the math and you start looking at inflation, he wasn't really, it was going to be tough for him to make it if he gave up his job. He wanted to retire. Another couple comes in and says, I don't think we can retire. We only have about 500,000. But because of their lifestyle, it was a much better, easier situation to achieve. I said, yeah, you guys can retire and you'll be just fine. So it's always an individual measurement of income, so to speak, depending on their unique situation.
Jerry, thanks so much for being back with us here on The Income Generation.
Thank you, David. Appreciate it.
One of our favorite guests here on The Income Generation is our next guest, and that's Michael Eastham, founder of Fellowship Financial Group, a retirement income store located right near Orlando, Florida. Now, Michael is also the Amazon best-selling author of the book, Common Sense Income Strategies. A true income specialist. Michael, thanks so much for being here with us on the show.
It's always a pleasure, guys. Thanks for having me.
So, Mike, we're talking a lot about different situations that are unique today. And so, but you offer very unique ideas and strategies for your customers. And so tell us about those unique ideas and strategies.
Well, Jeff, one of the things that I'll just kind of give you an example. I mean, just recently we had a situation where a lady came in and her husband had recently passed away. It was unexpected. And he was always the one, not only the primary breadwinner in the household, but also the one that managed the assets and did a pretty decent job. The problem was he didn't send that information, he didn't share a whole lot of that information with her. And so when he passed away suddenly, she wasn't aware of the change that needed to be made to Social Security for her to take that on. But once she got his Social Security in place, she realized she had a big gap in income in order to make all of her expenses. So in that particular situation, we were able to devise a strategy that helped her to fill the gap through dividends and interest and predictable income streams that gave her the confidence that she was going to be able to live comfortably and accomplish the goals that she had. So that's one of the beauties of having an income strategy or specializing in income, so that people, that is the one thing that they need. It's income for a purpose. It's making sure that you have enough income to last 20, 30 years in retirement.
Sure. The uniqueness of retirement is you can't retire unless you have income. So that's not unique. But the problem with our industry is they don't focus on that. Right, Mike?
That's right. I mean, the same mantras that were true back in the 70s and 80s, they try to pull all of those things forward to retirement, and just focusing on hey, wow, well, 4% rule, I could use that and just take 4% of my assets every single year. Well, that works fine as long as the market's going up. But when it goes down, you are depleting your principal way too soon. And that could cause you to run out of money before you run out of life. So there has to be a strategy shift for at least a portion of money that you need in order to have that predictable income.
Michael, great big thanks for being back with us here on The Income Generation.